Oh wait, I gotta do what I always do. Wait.
What do you mean, wait? We already here now.
Late because of me.
I don't know what you're gonna find yourself this Monday morning again.
Good morning, Myra.
Mm.
Good morning, Kashonda. We're late because of Terrence. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look, I was a little late, but I was
don't play that
looking at
off.
her fine self on this Monday morning.
Don't play that off.
This is forget about this coffee. This is Monday morning coffee here.
See how this is what they do.
The
Take
fine
note.
self.
You're late. You're playing it off. Good morning, Justin. You're
Ain't
playing it
okay,
off.
right?
Good morning, Teresa.
Hey, I ain't trying to play it off, but you're looking.
We're
good.
late because of Terrence, and that's all I
don't
care about.
What you say, but girl, you fine. You my black coffee this morning. I don't need this. Mm-mm.
You drinking it?
Girl, don't give me that. Girl, don't let me drink it. Girl, don't.
You playing off because we're late.
I ain't got to play
Good
off.
morning. Good morning. It's Monday morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's a great Monday morning.
It is.
We're Monday morning
fine,
with the more.
Girl, you fine.
This is the last Monday in August.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Monday. I'm Terrence Moore.
And I am Cheryl Moore. And welcome to our Monday morning with the Moores. Good morning, Joyce. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Don't nigga told me slide over. You should have been ready, be on time, in place, and on time. Ain't that what he said, Joyce?
Whatever.
Isn't that what he say, K-Tree?
Whatever.
So yeah, we are the Moores, and welcome to our Monday morning jumpstart. Hope you have had an amazing weekend, and let's get started with life updates.
What you got?
So today, come on and say today. Hey, let me hear you say it.
Today.
This ain't working. All of the Catholicism came out.
Today.
No. You see which one got the hoop. Right?
Yeah, I ain't hoop.
Mariah, I want you to go ahead and say we were late because I want that to be owned.
Look here, I was not late. I was just not on time.
111th girl. You were late. Come on. No, I want you to do like you do any other time I'm late and say I'm late. Today, yes, today is Monday. Today, life update. It is the first day of classes for me on campus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Not just back on campus for a meeting or anything like that.
No.
Like for real.
For real, guys. So I've been in a lot of transition. I've had a great summer. And I am carrying a full teaching load this semester. Not doing the administration, taking a break from being chair. And in the classroom, I led an entire project last academic year to flip over and revise our entire undergraduate degree program in the College of Business. And now I got to teach it to see if it's working right. You know how you territorial people are. You know, just sometimes you got to just work out yourself for the first round. Mm-hmm. So anyway, just getting a break from managing the faculty, leading, and just I am teaching 2 classes online and 2 on ground. And today my first class lecture is at 9:00, and I am excited. Y'all, is it mean for me to be giving the people the quiz? One class meets Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The other one is Tuesday, Thursday. And I'm going to do quizzes in both at the end of the week. Is that mean? Somebody give me some feedback if you think that's too aggressive.
Well, she mean anyway, so this just kind of falls in line with everything. For those of us who know her, she's just mean. So for those who don't know her, I'm just letting them know. Oh,
did she say yes?
Hey, well, truth, right? Truth and transparency.
Hey.
Truth and transparency.
I have to receive the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's torture.
Justin, you right.
Y'all just some lazy students looking for a pass.
Although now you got someone say, "Oh, keeps them on their toes." Oh, whatever, email them.
That's what. That's an educator talking right there. You see what I'm saying? So yeah,
Whatever.
pray that I have a great
Petra said yes.
pray that I have a great academic year. The poll is closed. I don't want no more responses.
Apparently, it's not falling in the direction that she does it.
Well, isn't that the way we act? When it's not what we want?
Yeah, you know.
Whatever.
You know.
Life update. So TJ is off. Today is Josh's first day on campus.
As a teacher?
Oldest, yeah, he had to go to teacher training. Terrence is going to an orientation this morning. So I am very excited. And is it raining? It's probably raining here. So we are looking forward to it. And for our church, we're heading into September, celebrating 11 years.
11 years,
Yeah.
y'all. 11 years of ministry. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we got one of the foundational members, Teresa P.
Our first member.
Our first member. And look, when we started Kairos, ain't nobody been in church. we got folk that wasn't in church or had relationship with us. Actually, they saw us as pastors before we did.
Yeah. Sometimes they still see it and I don't see it.
you got them days. Lord Jesus, you got them days.
So God is awesome.
11 years. This is awesome.
We are going to continue our story.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about finding a church and how we ended up hooking up with Pastor Daniels at Word of Life in Charleston when we got married. One of the biggest things for us was to be in a place where we both can grow. And we weren't concerned about what level, what speed. We were concerned about the fact that it was an opportunity for us both to grow in our respective places. And I think that's the key to anyone that's not if that's in a relationship or in the family, that it all doesn't have to look alike, the look-alike syndrome or cloning. You just want to be complementary. And that's the big push. That's what God gave us to promote in the sphere of the living, to align with what's complementary, not duplication, not cloning, not identical, and then respect diversity.
But I hate doing this. It's getting on my nerve. Go ahead.
Respect the differences and respect contributions from people and their sources alike. So that's always very, very important. So we ended up joining Word of Life, and I tell you what, our life really changed. It wasn't a decision that being a first daughter was completely very favorable on my end coming out of the AME church, and I never thought I would be in a non-denominational, as they call it, interdenominational church. That in itself was a huge opening and awakening for me as a person. In Summit, it didn't challenge, but I thought being non-denominational, and y'all, this is just my ignorance, just being real. I really thought it was like lacking discipline. So I felt like if you, and that was my mindset, if you weren't a part of a denomination, you didn't have any discipline. So I could just see people who know how I teach and preach now say, what?
And see, for me,
well, you wild anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter to me because I just wanted to grow. I just want to grow in a spiritual setting. I wanted to grow, wanted to know God because, again, at that point, I was getting my second wind of spirituality, second wind of knowing God. So it's like wherever He is and wherever I feel that I'm going to be fed, that's where I want to go. And part of me definitely did not want to go, denominational, but at the same time, I was very open to it. I know I didn't want to go to her parents' church, as we talked about last week, because of potential conflict of interest. Knew definitely would have gotten the word because her pops can preach. Lord, the man is full of wisdom, can preach. But I realized that I needed that wisdom on this end as a husband versus as him being the pastor.
And I think when we begin to look at that journey, it's something that, although we give some people in our church right now a tough time and we kind of baby them a little bit, we respect people from all walks of kind of we respect people from all walks of life,
Mhm.
because the realization of somebody's journey and what it takes for them to get to a certain juncture or sector or segment of their path is very difficult. And for
Very
us
true.
being newly married, I think I talked about the shame of not being successful. And I will say that we weren't successful in some instances, we still aren't.
That is so true, Lord Jesus. That is so true.
Some houses we
Oh my
just
God.
jacked up and we can possibly be.
Man, I'm jacked and she's up. I mean, I'm
Woo!
telling you.
And in the season that could flip. And we're okay with that because God has set us to be who we are and to be powerfully, hopefully impactful to
Mhm.
people who do struggle. Because when we first got married, I remember we were so lacking in finances, you guys. I just got to tell this part.
Even though it looked good on paper.
It looked good on paper. We had this amazing wedding. You all have heard the story, all the gifts. We were so strapped for cash. We were taking some of the gifts back and turning it in to get the cash.
Just for cash.
Just to get something to eat. And we didn't tell our family. We just kind of went through the process. And, when it first happens, of course, it's hurtful, it's embarrassing. It's a lifestyle that I couldn't live. But our church was it wasn't like a huge denominational church. We were someplace where we truly could be nurtured.
Right.
Especially as a new married couple, that was important for us to be someplace where we didn't get lost in the shuffle and have to pretend to live a life. I know y'all don't get all that means, but that for us as a new couple, that was important.
I don't like front. I don't front. So
one day I remember clearly when my mom and my sister came over to eat lunch. We had gotten up enough stuff to eat lunch. We were still living in our townhouse. We had new furniture and all this kind of stuff. And my car was slowly being stripped and taken from me. And so it was parked out. I backed it up so they won't see that the tags were off because you couldn't drive with expired tags. And so I backed it up. They came in. They're like, "Oh, why is your car parked over there?" Trying to play it off. It took so much effort to try to hide the truth. It took a lot of effort to try to hide the truth of what was going on. And when I look back at that now, Terrence, I really regret doing that. But I didn't want. But you don't realize sometimes as parents or whatever that you're putting your kid under pressure to perform. And so then they do the performance and then you're mad because they performed, not knowing that that was a part of it. So in that, eventually the car was taken and we had one vehicle.
Okay, no, let's say it right. It was repossessed. It was repoed.
Y'all see how I did that? You see how he put me out there when I got kicked out of school? So,
stop sugarcoating stuff.
My car got taken. And
we couldn't afford two cars.
Couldn't afford 2 car notes. And it looked good on paper, but it wasn't our reality. And in that, at first I got really bitter, especially when I knew, I felt like that was Terrence's fault. But the reality was we were not really in that scope, and we shouldn't have started off that high. We should have probably, in hindsight, wind it down and streamline it before we start, so we can build. For us, that works. Everybody that doesn't work. For us, that works to build together, and God knows that because of our personalities, that is important to build from the beginning. And so, that was a huge learning curve, and being in the church where you just got you're new in the word and you're new in life and struggle. But we were in the right church because our pastor understood the struggles of new beginnings.
And the crazy thing about it, and we didn't find this out until later, that when we walked through the doors of the church and we said that we went there for a couple of services, really enjoyed everything. And when we said that we wanted to join the church, he felt that, wait a minute, he discerned us. He knew the gifts that he discerned our gifts. We didn't really have an extensive conversation with him, but he told God, there's no way I can pastor this
I have
couple.
said that so many times when people come in our church.
It's like, I can't pastor this couple because they're so gifted. The anointing is heavy on them. And, we're like, we're new, but he didn't tell us this till years later. But I was honored and humbled that he thought that of us as someone who he really didn't know. He kind of knew Cheryl because
Right.
he's seen her
I
at
followed
his
his ministry,
his ministry.
sat under his teaching for years.
Yeah, so it was very humbling, but it was definitely a place that we were drawn to. We both were drawn to.
Good morning.
We were both drawn to, and it was very important that and honestly, I appreciate Cheryl for, being open enough to say, Terrence, let's try this particular ministry, knowing good and well it is not something I've ever been exposed to. Because it was all the speaking in tongues, as you talked about before, the intercession in
Remember
the dark.
I told y'all he broke my mama lamp speaking in tongues?
So I'm not used to all of this. I'm Catholic background, and I'm going into this charismatic church and everything else. But oh my God, that word was good.
The word
was rich. But again, it lent to exactly what we needed at that time. And the crazy thing about it, with the background I had with Catholic faith and in the Catholic Church, that was where I grew the most up until that time, where that I really became aware of who I was, the importance of God in my life. They actually wanted me to be a priest. I told them no, because I wanted a family. So of course that didn't work. So, but the fact is, God knew my heart, wanted me, and I knew that I wanted to be. I wanted to be in ministry because I was in the Catholic Church, but I didn't know what this looked like in this portion of our life.
Right.
And when we came to that church, it was everything I expected. Being there like about a year or two into the church, I expressed I really would like to be. I would like to be an elder now. And one of the elders said, "Whatever you speak, that is what God will grant in your life."
You should have thought twice about that.
And I spoke to a deacon.
I told God I didn't want to marry a pastor.
and I told the deacon was around when I said that too. And this deacon, oh my God, this guy was so wise. Man, this guy was so wise. Great man of God, prayerful, strong in the word, strong. Just a man's man. Just handle things. But the thing is, he said, Terrence, if that is in your heart, it's going to happen. And I see it in you. And I'm going, I'm thinking, that is something that is way down the road. And I didn't even express this to my pastor. I didn't even express it to him at all. I just felt that that's where, and eventually that I would get to. There was no ministry track. There was nothing there. I just felt this kind of pull in that direction. And I began to understand the role of an elder. And I'm like, wow, this is like, I felt something resonate in my spirit about that. But I never voiced it to Pastor Daniels. I just kind of shared it with Cheryl. And I just like, however this thing is going, and however it works, I am fine with it. I just want to grow, and it's exactly. And we ended up being in his executive.
We ended up really growing, and we were growing while we were not. We were growing spiritually, but we were struggling financially.
Right.
And that was,
isn't that crazy?
And not in an equilibrium. And at the same time, the finances had not manifested, but the confidence, everything that would manifest the finances was growing.
Right.
And
but we didn't see it. We didn't recognize it.
And we didn't get it at the time. How important that was to put things in order. All things in life don't grow in an equilibrium, but they do come to some type of consortium.
Yes.
And that was really key for us as we continue to grow in our faith and continue to move forward in the face of adversity. And in that, we learned to function when we had a little. We learned to function when God blessed us with a lot.
Very true.
We had to learn to be abased and abound, and to everything there is a season. And in all seasons, we had to be consistent. And we learned consistency through moving and staying in place in all seasons. And that is where we really grew. People ask, oh my gosh, it's not through some things when you're needing deliverance, demonic activity and all that comes through fasting and praying. Some things come out by fasting and praying. Yeah, but when you're growing, that's delivered. It's a difference between being delivered and growing.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I think we get that path, but as we walk that journey, we've come to realize there's a very different path when you are in a season of being delivered and being corrected and aligned in your life versus a growing. Because if those things have to be eliminated and taken out of place for healthy growth. And God is so wise in that. And that's what happened in our ministry and in our marriage.
Right.
We would
continuously.
And we had to get comfortable. We got to go, but we had to get comfortable with the seesaw.
Right.
Because there was times where he would be celebrated, and then, I'm like, come on, Terrence, and there are up times. It's never been, maybe in our latter years now, we're seeing this, and we grew to that. We didn't try to force it. We felt uncomfortable.
You were trying to force it.
I think we felt uncomfortable.
You were trying to force it.
It was very uncomfortable.
Because she was spiritually impatient with me.
You were a lot.
She was spiritually impatient with me. I was growing, and she was, as she said, we both were growing.
Faster.
That's what her mentality was. And I felt the pressure, but I'm like, looking at the financial part, but here's the other thing.
But I felt like when I was pressuring you like that, now that I'm older, I've grown up. But that pressure, putting him under pressure,
she thought really it was encouraging.
Could have killed him and put him in a deep depression that really
was not encouraging.
So I wasn't encouraging?
No.
I was like, come on.
In your mind, you were encouraging. Where I'm like, woman, God. But anyway, here's the crazy thing. We were going through that spiritually. We were looking at things financially and our finances. And, in a weird way, we weren't, even though we tried to cover it up with your parents, but with each other, we were kind of like, okay, we need to make some moves because we end up having to move to another apartment. We had to downsize.
Oh, right.
We had to downsize.
Okay, we got to talk about that next time.
But I want to say this.
We had this beautiful townhome, and then
within the year,
it was a really strong teaching at our church. We really sat under the word, and we had to downsize because the payments were extraordinary. And even with the one now we've lost the car. We pulled my little funky black sports car. And now we've lost this.
Some of us still have.
We lost this car. And what ended up happening, the teaching was to live within your means, to streamline, and it was financial discipline. And we were like, you know what? We need to downsize. Right. We couldn't even afford a moving company. We were in the same complex. We moved.
And the leasing agents, they were very
open, and allowed us to, transfer the contract agreement to finish it out. And we ended up moving you guys from a 2-bedroom.
No, it was a 3-bedroom.
Two. At the townhome was 2 bedrooms upstairs. 2.
Oh yeah.
1.5 bath, living room, full dining room. It was really beautiful.
Right.
Into a 1-bedroom apartment.
Right.
And the story, we're gonna stop the story there because we were in a 1-bedroom apartment. And wait till I tell you how we had to move. We had to get our friends and carry the furniture across the courtyard.
What a time.
We can't even afford boxes.
No.
You just see all the hangers.
Exactly. Lord have mercy.
Oh, and then we'll talk about the roaches when we come back.
Okay, yeah.
Remember the first night I went to get some water? And then I ran outside in my pajamas.
Because of the neighbors. Because of the neighbors. Oh, that's a lesson in itself. When you have messy people, it's going to mess on you. Oh my God, the roaches in our place. Oh my God. Okay, yeah.
Okay, guys,
we gotta talk about that next week. That just eat me to death. Oh my God, that's really ridiculous.
You might believe that's the only place I ever lived in that again.
Oh my God.
Happen. I've never had that.
All right, we gotta go, Lord. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah.
Also, now you're laughing at ourselves. Ain't nobody else laughing on the line but me.
Oh my gosh.
I don't care.
But that's where it was. Oh my gosh. Talk about transition.
Oh,
within your
transitions.
first year of marriage, and then that thing was no
I
joke.
don't even know if it's about your first year of marriage, just your first year in whatever your endeavor is.
First year of marriage.
Even the first year of first season, because we all have different seasons of life. And the
So the year
first
first.
of a new will always transition you. The first of anything new will always challenge you, no matter what it is. The first of anything new. And that's why you can't carry that attitude that I know what I'm doing. Oh, I get this. I've done this. Because you will miss the lessons that
Right.
will actually catapult you into your next level. If we really were to put a strong
absolutely.
summary segment on it,
Absolutely.
anything, the segment of new in your life will always challenge you, but don't miss those lessons. Don't call them, don't bring any.
It's not setbacks. It's
No.
what you don't know,
can't
you don't
see.
know.
You don't know, you don't know. And know that everything is not familiar. Something is meant to be fresh fruit.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right,
This is
and this is our week of first.
This is our week of first, and we call it fresh fruit. And you have to take those lessons and keep it moving.
And don't forget to share this. Share this.
Yep.
Don't forget to share.
The
Share the live.
Yeah.
Share this
We
live.
hope you have an amazing year declaring it. You, as my cousin said, you dominate it. You own it, and you declare it, and you dominate your destiny.
In Jesus' name. Amen. Bye-bye. The Lord touched you, Lord. Woo, hallelujah.